Hello and welcome back to Buckle Up. I'm Harry King and this is the brand new Skoda Octavia vRS. I'm on the Isle of Man. I'm going to drive it to the Victory Cafe and see if it's any good. Very exciting video, this one. So not only am I in the brand new facelifted Octavia vRS, but we're on the Isle of Man. Skoda have brought the entire history of Octavia vRS to the island. Apologies for the weird video order. I'm going to drive now and give you my initial impressions of the car. Then we're going up to the Victory Cafe, so I'll try and grab some shots of the boot, of the back seats, tell you what the practicality is like, and then, and here's the bit I'm really excited for, we get to drive those older Octavia vRSs. I get to experience what it's like all the way from the first generation to the current 4.5. I'm going to have an excellent day. I'm hoping this will be an excellent video. Please stay tuned, like and subscribe. And let's get on to some facts and figures. So there have been some quite heavy updates in terms of powertrain and options with this facelift of the Octavia. It's now petrol only. The diesel is gone due to emissions, fleet emissions that is, which also means the all-wheel drive is gone from the VRS. The big thing though is power is now up to 265 PS, which means in the hatchback you've got a 0 to 62 time of 6.4 seconds, and in this estate it's 6.5. 7-speed DSG, no manual option. I have already had a quick blast up to the start point of this video, and I can confirm it changes very slickly indeed. There have obviously also been a range of exterior updates, which hopefully I'll be able to show you later on, so we'll kind of breeze over them for now. Also in here we've got the new big screen. For those of you who aren't aware, Skoda is a part of the VW AG group. So this is on an MBQ platform ultimately, which means this is the same thing as VW's new infotainment, and that's good news because it means it works now. I've got wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I'm using my Android Auto right now to navigate me around the TT route, about 70% of the TT route. For some reason, Skoda have trusted me to drive their brand new performance car around the TT route. What else is on here? Oh yeah, I've got radar cruise control with steering assist. So that's kind of daily boxes ticked, isn't it? 40 mpg, automatic, steering assist, super practical. I mean, the boot is massive, absolutely colossal. Even in the hatch, but I am in the estate because that's better, isn't it? Sporty estates are just cool. I think we've come all the way around on estates where it's now kind of the off-the-wall interesting choice. Let's see what this is like. Put my foot down. I do have paddles to change gear if I would like. How are the brakes? Oh, they're lovely. This has also got a hydraulically locking front differential to help you put the power down out of the corners. It's interesting, I'm getting a lane departure warning and it's just a little vibration through the steering wheel rather than it trying to yank the wheel out of my hand, which is nice. It's a reminder that you're straying over the line without it being distracting to driving. Walking. Oh yeah, you can really just put the power down out of a corner. Nice little trumpet from the exhaust. Classic DSG trumpet. And it's got bags of power. I mean, I'm going up quite a steep hill now and I basically can't feel it through the throttle. Really smooth power delivery. This is obviously the EA888, I want to say, or AE888. It's the VW unit that they use in the Golf R and this and the Superb and the Arteon R and the Polo GTi, everything. Super solid. It's a brilliant engine. You can definitely feel that it's a bigger car. in the corners. It is lacking just that bit of body control compared to an equivalently priced, equivalently powerful hot hatchback. Slightly more heft. With a driver, this is around 1.5 tons. So you would expect that, and I think actually for the body type that this has, the handling is really good, and it is playful. You can feel what it's doing. Now the steering is a little numb. It's an electric system. There's some alright weighting to it, but it's on the lighter side of things in the performance car world. Wow, this is a good road. I'm sorry, I'm as mesmerised by the road that I've suddenly found myself unable to talk about the car, even though the car is allowing me to enjoy this road to a great extent. And maybe that says more about the car than I ever could. Now, in terms of other bits of tech in here, I've got dual zone climate control, I've got a heated seat. I'm just trying to work out if I've got a reversing camera. Let me quickly establish that. Just going to pull in here. I do have a reversing camera. It's got lines on it and everything. It's a little grainy, but all right. That's probably enough talking from me driving, though. Let's go and do the other bits of the video that I would usually have done first. Okay, so let's do like a quick wrap around of the interior and styling of the new Octavia vRS. POV style, because this is a launch, I'm by myself, and also I have like 5 minutes to do this. So let's start here at the front. As you can see, they've slightly slimmed down the grille with the facelift. They've also introduced these new lights. This car has just been cleaned, which is why they're all steamed up. But you've got this kind of pattern down now. And obviously the rest of the features do match the general facelift of the Octavia. I think it looks very smart. I like how this one has all blacked out trim. That's very sporty. Very, very sporty. Now at the side we can see this is an estate. It is available with a hatchback still. You also have these new 19-inch wheels for the VRS. They're kind of a more filled in aero style. And while I like them, I do think they're not quite as strong as the wheels you got on a Mark III. Those are my favourites. Get round to the back though. We'll see you've got twin tailpipes. I think though, with an Octavia vRS, this is a big part of why you would buy one. If I open up the boot, well over 600 litres of space in here. It's actually 600 in the hatchback. And then this is, another 40 litres over that, I want to say. I'll flash the figure up on the screen. Wow, big. As you can see, you've got Annette down here. She's doing well. But kind of a huge cavernous space to put things in as on this side as well. These remove if you need to put in a wide load. Slot back on nice and easily. You can see you've got kind of tethers all around the bottom. You've got a 12-volt socket. You can drop the seats from here. And then you have a really, really massive practical space. In fact, come on, Harry, let's test it. Drop them down. Okay, apologies, jump cut there, but I had to push the seats down. But you can see it's not quite a continuous load space, but it is a really, really big one. And you've also got a couple of little hooks and things that are dead handy. Well, I haven't checked, I should check. In here, do we have one? Yes, we do. Simply clever. This is an ice scraper if you don't know. But there are lots of features like that on a Skoda that just make them pleasant to own. I also do love this style of just press it and it retracts. I like that a lot. Let's go around and pop those seats up and I'll hop in the back. Okay, I'm now situated here in the back. As you can see, I've got enough headroom. I'm 108 centimeters tall. My knees are against the front seat. This is in my driving position though. So behind a shorter driver, I would be fine. And actually, it's okay for space. For what is ultimately quite a small estate car, I do feel like there's enough room back here. There are a few nice features though, as well. So obviously ISOFIX, Lovely pattern on these seats. It's diamond with the contrast stitching, but it's fabric. It's nice and soft and comfortable. I've got this simply clever storage tray. Can pop these out, make cup holders if I want to. If I need extra space, this does remove. I'm not going to bother doing that now. And you can see you've got USB-Cs and a little shelf and air vents. I've got many seat back pockets, or two. I have two seat back pockets. I've got decent sized door pockets as well. And I do also have a center armrest with, how do these pop out? There, like that. With pop out cup holders. But they cover up if you want, and it's a nice wide armrest, and it's at a good height actually. And it's also, how do I do that? There we go. Bear with. Through loading, in case you want to go to the Alps or something with your skis. And it's actually a really, really big space as well. Very, very practical. How is it in the front though? So they've quite heavily updated the interior in here. The main thing is this screen. If I just pop the car on, we'll do the start sequence. You can see that this now sort of works, which is lovely. Look, I can do the climate, I can do volume control. It all works properly, and these are always illuminated, at least. I still don't have physical climate controls, which is a shame, but this is better than what was before. Otherwise, I mean, it's a DSG. I've got cup holders, a little cubby here. Got this center console storage area. This is like a slot-in pocket if you need it. Oh, that's my lovely fruit pastels, I think. And obviously a big glove box as well. And somewhere to put your sunglasses. All the practicality ticked. Nice big door bin with space for a bottle if you need it. And a wireless charger plus two USB-Cs. This is just an adapter to USB-A, but there you go, two USB-Cs. And wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, which is lovely. I've also got Smart Cruise down there, multifunction steering wheel, rotary controls for volume, which is good to see. They're nice and easy to use. And a lovely clear display, which obviously is a little bit configurable if I switch things around. Look at that. So many things. Lots of things. I think, though, the thing to do now is see if I can go and drive any of the old cars and maybe have a lovely, lovely, sweet, sweet time in them. Right, I'm now driving the Mark III, the immediately previous version of the Octavia vRS. So this has 220 PS. DSG gearbox in this one. You could get a manual. Front wheel drive, although this was the generation where they introduced a four-wheel drive diesel variant with 184 PS. I'll tell you what, it still feels quick, even after driving the new car all day. I mean, this is still less than 7 seconds to 62, which is still decent performance, I would say. Put my foot down. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yanks me up that hill. Brake, 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 brake. And you know what? Skodas do have a reputation for being solid cars, don't they? And I've got to say, this holds it up. This still feels tight. The brakes still feel good. The throttle response is still good. I've got it in VRS mode, which means the steering is weighted up. That feels excellent as well. I've got paddles if I want to use them, or I can use the actual shift down here, plus and minus, in a kind of rally sequential style. I've still got a proper handbrake on this generation, leather wrapped. The whole interior, dated as it obviously is, still very nice though, soft touch everywhere. Unfortunately, my camera is rattling a lot. I am very sorry if you can hear that, but there are no other shakes and rattles in the car. I'm a big fan of this. What are these worth now? Do you reckon I could get one? I reckon I could get one. Okay, so You may have noticed the light has come down a little bit. I'm really at the dying of the day now, although it is November, so it's actually only 4:30. But I'm in the Mark II. So this is the first DSG in an Octavia vRS. It is the first diesel Octavia vRS, and I am in an estate version of it, which actually represented 70% of the sales of the Octavia vRS in this generation. So, more plasticky interior. I like this. This does remind me of old VW products that me and all my friends have owned. And you know what? I do actually quite like the interior. There's a lot of silver in here, which does help lift it against some of the rivals at the time. There was a lot of grey plastic going on in the rivals, and you did have, I mean, you had silver like this in the Astra, but it felt so cheap. This actually, I mean, it's hard, very hard, but it doesn't feel brittle, and it feels quite thick. It's again that kind of Skoda sturdiness showing through. You forget, though, how good steering kind of just natively was before electric steering. I mean, a really properly calibrated electric steering system is a very good thing, but a hydraulic system, you don't have to worry about getting the feel and the weight right, because mechanically it's already there. Anyway, sorry, the stats for this being the diesel, it's 170 PS and a good old wodge of torque, and it just goes down the road really nicely. You can see why they were so popular, because it's got that in-gear push, shove, that's just a really pleasant thing to have. Especially if you did a lot of Fast A and motorway journeys, overtaking someone in a relaxed manner. But also the refinement, considering that this is basically a 20-year-old design at this point, a 20-year-old engine. It's very refined and very smooth. Obviously I can hear the diesel-y rattle on startup, but all things considered, I'm very impressed. Let's go back though and move on to the next one, which will actually be tomorrow, and then I'll come back to today. Time is a concept. Right, I finally made it into the Mark I car. So this is the birth of the RS, actually. I mean, there's kind of a couple of historical race models that raced under the RS banner, but in terms of a car you could actually buy on road, this was the first VRS Skoda. At the time it was the most powerful Skoda with 180 horsepower, and also the most expensive one at just over £15,000. I bet you wish you could still buy a hot hatch for £15,000 today. Power in this came from a 1.8 litre turbo, 5-valve engine, closely related to the one in the actually slightly later Golf GTi or the first generation Audi TT. And they did do a rally version of this car, a homologated version, not for sale, but they pushed this engine up to 300 horsepower and it had all-wheel drive. And that was also Skoda's kind of re-entry into rallying using their VRS badge. Now this shares its underpinnings with the Mark IV Golf, and if you're accustomed to that car on the inside, then this will feel surprisingly familiar. Kind of sharing across brands wasn't as advanced as it is now, so the shape of the dash and kind of the shape of the door cards and this steering wheel especially all feel very similar. The thing that's freaking me out the most is it smells like there's just a smell of this age of VAG product, specifically the Mark IV Golf based cars, and this has it, and it is like stepping back in time. Got a little Octavia badge up here on the dashboard in that script they used for the first generation, which I do really like. But even 20, I mean actually this generation came out originally in 1996, The VRS came out with the facelift, and even on this facelifted car, so that's 24 years old, the design, even then, I have the little clip on the windscreen. Let's see what she'll do. Wow. Oh, there's turbo noises. There is turbo noises. It's got a manual, and you know what? It's good fun to get through those gears. There are turbo noises. There's also, I mean, I'm astounded. I mean, I guess the power is not that high, but I've definitely been in less powerful cars where there is more evident torque steer. That was quite a smooth pull up to 60. In modern terms, this isn't the fastest thing in the world, but you know what? That was good fun. But then, if you go easy and just relax, smooth shift, clutch is easy to use, gears going nice and positively. It's not the tightest box in the world, but there's a decent bit of engagement there. And I mean, I said this in the Mark II, but hydraulic steering, how I miss it. I can just feel the road. If you've not driven a car with hydraulic steering, you won't necessarily be able to appreciate how much better this is than most electric steering systems. And this was a value car at the time. Oh, yes. Rides beautifully, actually. Very, very impressed. I mean, I think there is a strong argument to be made that the early to mid noughties was maybe the best it's ever gonna be for attainable performance cars. Everyone was making a hot hatch. It was kind of the rebirth of the hot hatch and the, in general, just kind of sporty variants of cars. Like, you could buy a V6 Mondeo, you could buy a turbocharged Mazda 6, Mazda 3, Ford Focus ST, RS, but even, you know, stuff like the Toyota Corolla T. At the time, no one bothered with that because there was so much great stuff on offer. But I bet if you drove one now, it would feel surprisingly good compared to the kind of... I mean, there are some amazingly competent cars out there. Things like the GR Yaris, the last Fiesta ST, the i20N were all amazing cars. But they were it. Number one, they were it in the segment right at the end there. I mean, there's still a GR Yaris. There's only like 1,000 coming, and it's nearly 50 grand. But the small hatch is kind of gone. I know this is the size class up, but just everyone had one. And with the hydraulic steering, they were simple cars. They were relatively lightweight. If you've got a lighter car, you don't need as much power, so they're good on fuel. They ride better. They don't need as big of brakes. And also, they were all manual. And I do like a manual in a car like this. It is rewarding. Now, the new VRS, obviously, is a much better car to own day to day than this would be. Use it all the time. And it still does have, you know, good economy. It's blisteringly fast, much faster than this. But in terms of something that would make you smile every time you took it out, this might be the top of that ladder. Although I don't know, I really enjoyed driving I've enjoyed driving every single generation of this car. They're all excellent in their own special way. I don't know, that might be a bit of a weak roundup, but this one feels very pure and focused. The new one is brilliant though. That's probably enough nattering from me. I'll go and do some kind of conclusion, probably yesterday. So, the new Octavia vRS, what am I thinking? Well, this is an excellent car with an excellent update. I love the new power of the engine, but also I now have an even greater appreciation for how strong the lineage for this car is. Every single generation has been excellent, and this is just an improvement on an already winning recipe. I strongly recommend that you go check one of these out if you're interested in a performance, estate or hatchback. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. If you go down into the description, you'll find all the links to all our social medias. You'll also find 2 ways that you can support the channel. So we have channel memberships right here on YouTube, and we also have merchandise. So please go and do one or all of those things, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.